Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ronke Daranijo, and in today's tutorial we'll be learning how to make a basic trouser block with zipperfly and side pocket. If this is what you'd like to learn, kindly stay tuned. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button below, and please give this video a thumbs up. Thank you. So before I go into the drafting, I would like to use this trouser that I drew out to do some explanation. As you can see, this is how a trouser looks like, and the beginning point of the trouser is called the waist or the band. Then we have this line, the line following it, that's the waist to hip measurement, the waist to hip, where you place the waist to hip measurement. Then there's another line following it where you place the waist to crotch level or crotch depth. So on this crotch level depth, you can also see there's an extension where there's a curvy part of the trouser. That part is called the crotch extension. So the outer part of the trouser is called the outseam, while the inner part of the trouser is called the inseam. We also have the waist to knee measurement. So the reason why I did this little explanation, so that by the time I start drafting, we'll all have a vivid understanding of what I'm doing. All right. So the first thing I'll do is to mark out my starting point for my trouser, and I'll be coming down by 3 inches. I'll be coming down by 3 inches. And the next thing I'll be doing is to also go in by 3 inches from the side of my paper. This is to enable us to have enough room to work with our trouser block. All right. So the next thing I'll be doing is to take all my vertical measurements. So the first thing I'll do is to take the trouser length measurement. So I'm taking the trouser length measurement from this point. And my trouser length measurement is 42 inches. All right. So the next thing I'll be doing is to take my waist to hip measurement. My waist to hip measurement is 7. My waist to crotch level or crotch depth is 9.5 inches. Remember, I explained how we can arrive at our crotch level or crotch depth either using your hip divided by 4, or you sit down on a flat surface and then you measure from where you want your trouser to start to the flat surface. So either of the two methods is okay. So the next thing I'll be doing is to measure my waist to knee measurement, and my waist to knee is 23 inches. All right. So the first thing I'll be doing is to create the upper block of the trouser, and by doing that, I'll be dividing my hip by 4, and my hip divided by 4 is 9.25. So this first block I'm creating will be resting on the crotch level line. All right, so the next thing I'll be doing is to measure for my crotch extension. Remember, in my small paper where I drew out the trouser, I explained that the crotch extension is where you have this curve. So to get my crotch extension for the front is hip divided by 20. That's to get the crotch extension for the front, hip divided by 20. And my hip divided by 20 is 1.85. So I'll be placing 1.85 on this crotch level line. 1.85. All right. So the next thing I'll be doing is to make use of my curve to connect from this 1.85 line to this line here. All right. So you should make sure your curve is not too curvy and is okay. At least by the time you place your measurement like this, you should have at least not more than 1 inches. So the next thing I'll be doing now is to create the lower block. And to create the lower block is to measure what I have from here to here. And what I have from here to here, I have 11 inches. So I'll take that 11 inches down. I'll be marking at various points 11 inches down. I'll take it to my trouser length. All right, so the next thing I'll do after creating my second block is to look for the midpoint of the block, of the lower block, and the midpoint is 5.5, 5.5. So I'll be taking that 5.5 on the crotch level line downward. 5.5. All right, so the next thing I'll be doing is to measure my waist circumference, to place my waist circumference on the beginning point of my trouser, which is the waist or the band line. The waist or the band line. So in doing so, I'll be dividing my waist divided by 4. And my waist divided by 4 is 7.25. And I'll also be adding the dart I want to use, the dart intake I want to use. So I want to use the total of 1.5 inches dart. So I'll add 1.5 inches dart to 7.25, and I would have a total of 8.75. So I'll go ahead and mark 8.75. Remember, this is my center front, and this is my side front. That's the inseam and the outseam. All right. So I have a total of 8.75. I'll go ahead and mark. All right. So I'll go ahead now and take my dart measurement. And to take my dart, I'll be dividing that 8.75 by 2. I'll look for the midpoint of my 8.75 like this. This is the midpoint. And I'll come down by 5 inches. 5 inches. And then I'll connect. So the next thing I'll be doing is to, initially I added 1.5 inches dart to my waist. So I'll divide it by 2. I'll be having a total of 0.75. So I've taken my dart for the front. So the next thing I want to do now for the front is to go down at the center front by half an inch or 0.75. Half an inch or 0.75 is okay. And then I'll come up on the waistline by half an inch. And then I'll connect. And I'll raise this line up to meet the half an inch. So the next thing, that's for the waist area. So the next thing I want to do now is to place my round knee measurement and my round ankle measurement. So in doing so, I'll be dividing my round knee measurement by 4. And my round knee measurement divided by 4 is 4. That's 16 divided by 4. So I have 4. Now I'll be placing 4 to the right side and to the left side from this line, which is called the crease line. The crease line. So I'll be placing from this crease line to the right and to the left. And then I'll use my curve to connect from this crotch extension to the 4 inches. Now, in a case whereby you have someone that has a very fat lap, that's the round thigh area is very big, I would advise you make use of a straight ruler to connect from this point to the round knee, so that the person won't complain that area is tight. But for at least the person whose round thigh area, the upper part is not that fat, you can make use of your curve. So for the side, I'll be connecting from my crotch level here. This point here, I'll connect it to the 4 inches with a straight ruler. All right. So the next thing I want to do is to measure for the round knee, and my round ankle, and my round ankle divided by 4 is 3 inches to the left and 3 inches to the right. And I'll connect with a straight ruler down. I placed it on my trouser length. All right. So this is everything you need to know for the front. Then the next thing I want to do is for the front now is to draw out my zipper fly. So your zipper fly width depends on you. I would want to make mine 1.5 inches wide, or you can use 1 inch wide. So I'm using 1.5 inches wide, and I'll come down, okay, on to the waist to hip line, and I'll bring it out. So now this I can use this for my shield and my zipper fly. Then you know that curve that is always on your trouser. You just take your curve a little like this. So that's all. So I'll be duplicating this for the zipper fly and the shield. So the next thing I want to do now is to draft out the back pattern. And in getting the back pattern, I'll be coming in now. Remember, this is my center front line. I'll be coming in from that center front line by 1 inch. Please, you need to pay attention at this junction, because this junction can be very tricky. This part can be very tricky. So from this point, I'll go in by 1 inch. So I'm making use of a green marker so that it won't be confusing. So on the crotch level line from my center front line, I'll be going in by 1 inch. Then I'll come to the waist area and I'll go in by 2 inches. I'll take it again. From this point, I'll go in by 1 inch, and on the waist line, I'll go in by 2 inches. And then I'll connect my 2 inches to my 1 inch. So now on these 2 inches line, that's on these 2 inches points, I'll come up by 1.5 inches. Now, if the person is that type that has a very big bum at the back, you can try to raise it up by 2 inches. That is to enable the bum sit well at the back. It is called the bum rise. So I'll go ahead now. Now this is my center back. So I'll go ahead now to retake my measurements for my hip. So my hip divided by 4 was 9.25. So I'll go ahead and take it for the back. So 9.25. So I took it on the waist to hip line, and on the waist to hip line and the waist to crotch level line, and I'll connect it together like this. So the next thing I want to do now is to remeasure my waist measurement for the back. Now the total of my waist measurement for the front was 8.75, including my dart intake. So I'll go ahead and do the same thing for the back. Watch the way I place my taper, because my taper is not going to be straight. The line at the back is not going to be straight. It's going to be a little bit slanted. So from here, I'll be measuring 8.75. This is 8.75. That's from this point here. From this point here, this is 8.75. Now this 8.75 line, I'll come up by half an inch. I'll come up by half an inch. This is half an inch. So and I'll connect from that point to this point, like so. All right, and I'll use a straight ruler to connect. Sorry, and I'll use a straight ruler to connect to my hip line. Okay, so that's for the back. So the next thing I want to do now is to place my darts. I'll also go ahead and divide the middle line of my waist by 2. And once I locate the middle part, this is it. I'll be taking my darts to the right, 0.75 to the right and 0.75 to the left. And then I'll make my darts length 6 inches for the back. So, and then I'll connect. All right, so that's my dart for the back. So the next thing I want to do for the back is to create the crotch extension. Now the crotch extension for the back is hip divided by 4. So my hip divided by 4 in this case is 3.7. So I'll be measuring 3.7 from this center back line. So 3.7 forward. And I'll connect. This is the line here. So I'll be using my curve to connect from this line to this point. It's not necessarily your curve gets to this point, but it must touch this line. That's the crotch extension. It must touch the line. So this is, watch me how I'll be creating my curve. So like so you also cross check if you don't have more than 1 inch at that point. So let that be a guide. Always at the end of the after curving out, try to check if it's more than or less than 1 inch, so you can adjust. So the next thing I want to do now is to add half inches. Now that's everything about the back for the upper part. So now is to add half inches on my waist to knee, half inches here. So yes, so I'll be connecting from my crotch extension for the back to the half inches with the curve. Remember I said if the person has a very fat slab that's round tight side, you don't need to use a curve. Just go ahead and use a straight ruler so that there'll be room for the person. So, and then I'll use a straight ruler to connect from here to here. All right. So I'll go ahead and add half. Now, when you're adding your half, don't add half inches here, add half inches here. No, just go ahead and add your half inches here and connect here. Add half inches here. Don't do half inches, half inches. No, just take it on the round knee and on the round ankle. So I'll go ahead and add half inches at the round ankle. That is after my front block. So now use the straight ruler to connect. All right. So that is my trouser block for both the front and the back. So the next thing I want to do now is to go ahead and trace out my pattern for both the front and the back. Then I'll show you what it looks like.